going on, everybody? CustomBeatKing.com on time this week. Welcome to the Custom Beat Show once again. This is about beats and life transparently. You know what I mean? So, thanks to everybody that was tuning in last week. And for those who are going to tune in this week, thank you very much for tuning in. Um, I guess we can just break the ice today and talk a little bit about the latest news in music production. For all of us MPC people, when I say us, that means me included. I'm an MPC guy. We just got an update this week for the beta version of MPC 3. Now, I will say this: I got a chance to get the update, and I got a chance to play around with it. And just this morning, I was able to utilize the new platform to make a beat, literally make a whole entire beat, meaning song structured. All my sequences were able to be made into a song format, and I think that that's a handy tool the way that they got it set up, and it's very similar to how I did it in the MPC2 software. Same thing. I pretty much utilize song mode and building sequences. Building sequences and converting them to song mode to me is one of the easiest ways for you to get involved with MPC. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can understand the platform from that standpoint alone, I think it's going to bode well for you. I think it's going to work wonders for you. You know what I mean? And I think that you really will see the benefit. You know what I mean? Now that everybody's got a different way of going about doing what it is that they're doing with MPC. And some people that are accustomed to it being a certain type of workflow because there's certain tricks and stuff that they like to do. I can see you having an issue with the new update. Like they did add an arranger window. And for those who aren't familiar with the arranger window, that's a window that actually kind of like makes MPC look like a DAW. And that to me was a game changer for me because now I can take the standalone unit, which I have an MPC One Plus. If you have a certain type of MPC out there, put it in the comments. Let me know exactly what it is that you guys have, and we'll, share and trade information like that. And that's what this is all about: is transparency. That's why I said transparency, because I'm going to give you guys my honest and upfront, techniques. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I need to hold on to all my techniques and just keep them all for myself and this, that, and the third. That's just not how I do it. Now, if you choose to do it that way, that's fine. You know what I mean? But for me, it's just not that kind of party. That's just not how I get down. I'm going to try to show people as much as I possibly can and really, really kind of like, you know, try to be transparent with what it is that we're learning and going from those standpoints and those standpoints alone. You know what I mean? But I hope everybody's had a great week. Like I said, I got a chance to test out the MPC3. It's only in standalone mode. Now, if you want to use the software, which I am a big fan of the software as well. You know what I mean? I'll say that for a fact. I utilize the software in probably some ways that a lot of people do not, which is something that I'm going to go over today as far as, how I choose to use the MPC platform. Everybody's got a different way of using these softwares. Let me be clear with that too. Whatever software it is that you like to use it. We're not just going to cover one in particular software on this show. We're going to try to cover as many of them for both Mac and PC users. We're going to cover as many of the softwares as we can. Some of them are free, some of them are not, but we're going to go through all of them because why not? It's like, sometimes people get stuck on one particular platform and they want to educate people on one platform, but you never know what kind of scenario you're going to run into going down the road. You never know what kind of scenario you're going to be in the studio. You may have to familiarize yourself with other softwares to be functional in studio sessions. And so I took it upon myself. I'll be the first to let you know. I took it upon myself to educate myself on as many studio platforms as I possibly could, as many DAWs, digital audio workstations, if you will, as I could. And I think that that's really important for other producers, engineers. Familiarize yourself with more than just something that you love to use, because you never know when you may need to use one of the other things and still make a quality product. At the very least, be able to record and do some light mixing in all of these softwares. Learn how to make beats in these softwares if you're a producer. Learn these things. Learn these things because you never know down the road sometime. You may only be stuck with something like a BandLab. And if you're not familiar with BandLab's workflow, how are you going to be able to use it? But you really don't have no other alternative at this moment in time. BandLab is the way to go. So, find a way to learn these different things. There's certain things that I've looked at in the recent times, like Cakewalk. Cakewalk is something that was like one of the very first digital audio workstations in the world. And they still have it out there today. As a matter of fact, BandLab bought the rights to Cakewalk and they redesigned it and they brought it back out. So for all those guys that liked to use Cakewalk back in the day, you can have access to it again. That was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I think that was something that I was looking forward to seeing are some of the classic DAWs. Like last week we went over Acid Pro, and if you was here with me last week, you saw that Acid Pro still has a lot of value in today's, workflows. You know what I mean? So I think that that's just really, really an important thing to tell people is, find clever ways to use all the softwares. You know what I mean? What did I decide to do today, though, for the show? Decided to talk with you guys a little bit about, how much of a luxury it is to be in today's society with the technology, in today's music communities with the technology that we have at our disposal. There's so many things that you can do on your own. Shoot your own videos. You can do your own commercials. You can do your own beats right here on your phone. You could do it right on the phone. Like you can do all kind of different types of stuff. Shoot your own music videos. Shoot everything. You know what I mean? Like content. You can do all kind of different types of things. You can write books on your phone. Like there's a whole bunch of different things. But just getting back to music, though, there's so many things you can do musically with your phone now, and with the computer and with the technology that they have built. What people don't understand is it's like the way these digital audio workstations are set up. Back in the day, if you had a setup that's similar to the environments of these digital audio workings, and I'm talking about in the early goings, like digital audio workstations really didn't get into the fold of things until like the late 90s going into the early 2000s. You know what I mean? Like it literally has been like that. You know what I mean? So when they put that stuff in there, like stuff before then, you had to go to a studio, and the studio had tens of thousands of dollars of equipment that performed these same exact functions that the basic, and I mean the basic digital audio workstations do now, and then some, because if you go and upgrade or you find a platform that has a bunch of tools in it, you can literally do a lot in this day and age that you couldn't do before. I'll be the first to let you know that right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a great time for those people that really, have been, watching the show and watching other people do things. There's a bunch of people, like, that's another thing too. Like with this show, I'm not going to do these in-depth tutorials like others are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just literally telling folks that it's important that you get what you need to get, and important that you do what you need to do with this stuff. And we're definitely going to be getting to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe. Once again, I appreciate you guys tapping into the show. I don't want to get too long-winded, but there's other people, like I said, there's other people that do their tutorials and stuff like that. I suggest you find some of these guys on YouTube. I even watch them, and I learn stuff from them as well. So get on there. If it's the software that you use and you want to get better at it, I'd say go research, do learn what you need to learn. Without further ado, though, we're going to get into the platform today that we're messing with, which is MPC 2.15 in the software mode. So here we go. We're over here in MPC 2.15, and what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how you can set it up like your favorite DAW, okay? Set it up like your favorite DAW, and then you can record, you can mix, and you can do everything that you want to do in the software. And a lot of people don't use this side of the software. I'll be the first to let you know that right off the bat. Like, over here in the window here, you can see that I'm on the audio side. If you can see my mouse, if you can't see it, up on the top left corner, it says MIDI, and it also says audio. Now, if you go to the main screen of MPC and you're just on MIDI, what you'll see is the basic setup that most people are familiar with. The basic setup that most people are familiar with is this particular side of the software. Sorry about that. Somebody just tried to call in. And yeah, so basically we're on the main side of the software. So now if we go over here, though, this is the audio side. What you can do on the audio side is you can actually set up the environment here to record and mix just like you would in any other software. And most of the time, people don't even talk about this particular thing. So now what I did was I just selected the track view tab. And if you look over here in my setup, I'm gonna shrink this part of it down. And you can see in my window here, this is nothing but a series of audio tracks that I have set here. Now, what can I do? I can actually record some music with this side of it, like a DAW. Now, how do we go about doing that? Now, on the far right here, I got my browser, and say I wanted to find a beat that I wanted to, do a song to. So here's one right here. Okay, I like that one. So we're going to stop that real quick. What I need to do is, I know that tempo is 86 BPM, so I'm going to hit 86 on my BPM here, and I'm going to set that. It's important that producers understand that. Like, just dragging, and anybody that's actually using the platforms to record, I want you guys to be clear and understand that you definitely need to understand tempo. Understand tempo, and you may understand a lot more about, doing software work. You know what I'm saying? And doing work in a digital audio workstation and being in music. Because that's one of the basics right there, y'all. You got to be able to understand tempo. If you do not understand tempo, then you need to get some understanding of tempo and really, 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 sink in with it, because it's really important that we understand these things. Okay. Understanding those things are really, really critical. Now, that being said, I got my tempo set here at 86. I got my beat here, and I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to drop it to the very first track. Now, this is something this is a little different than what people are normally accustomed to doing. So what I'm going to do here is make sure that that's all the way to the front. It's already set at my tempo, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to take this away so you can see here that this is only setting me up for like 3 bars of viewing. What I need to do over here on the left, where it says sequence, under there it says bars. I'm going to drag these bars out to like maybe 80. So that way my whole entire beat is going to be here in the track window. Now I can see more of the beat. And I'm seeing now that the beat ends at like 57. So I was way past the thing. So I'm just going to back it up to about maybe 57. There we go. So now you can see pretty much the whole entire beat here. And oh, give me 1 second here, guys. We're gonna come right back. Take 1 second. Get yourself a beverage. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully it wasn't too long for you. But once again, we are at the stage now where we got our track already set in here. Just to prove that it works, let's just go ahead and play it from the beginning. If you don't know where play from beginning is, you can play the space bar. You get the space bar on your keyboard, or you can hit play from the start, which is this play button with the line on it, the top right. Okay. Now I noticed one thing. What we're going to do here is we're going to call up the mixer, and we're going to actually take our track and we're going to put it right back out to the main outs here, so we can get that full quality of the beat. And you don't want your beat, let's just know this, whatever track you drag this on, make sure your output is main output 1 and 2 and not running to a vocal bus. Not running to a vocal bus. So again, we're going to start that again. Now, when I'm hearing my beat, it's pretty good in my ears right now. I think that that's a comfortable level. And so as I can see, I'm right on the bars too. If you look at my count up top, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the importance of having the tempo. That's the importance of having the tempo on point with the beat, because you want to be able to do some editing to this track as you're going along. And you can do some editing to this as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do some editing. Now I got my stuff on autosave, so it's autosaving. I recommend in MPC you do have the autosave function on, because heaven forbid something crash or something like that, your power go out of nowhere, you won't lose your work by autosaving. I say when you drag your beat in, you automatically save that project. So I'm gonna automatically save the project as I always use save project as. I don't know why. It's just a rule of thumb. It kind of like keeps my template, which this is a template, by the way, that I'm using, because I already set up the environment just to show you how many tracks you can use. You can use multiple tracks. I think up to 64 tracks in the MPC software. So we're going to switch the name of this, and I'm just going to call it something. Okay, now it's saving my project. And so now this project is dedicated just to that song. Okay, so now I can go in and I can start to actually lay vocals on the next track. Now, mind you, these tracks all can be renamed. So if I'm over here where it says track on the far left, I can rename that and say that that's my beat. All right, so now I know that that track is the beat. So now we're going to go to the next track. Second track, we're just going to call this the record track, because we're going to record our vocals mainly through this particular track right here. Okay. And the way I got mine set up is I actually have it routed to a submix, which I consider a bus track. So we're out here to submix 1. I'm just routing it to there so I can hear, you know, if I want to, I can hear the effects. But me, myself, I personally do not do that. I do a lot of direct monitoring. So today we're going to do some direct monitoring so the latency is not, you know, affecting me. So now I just armed that track, and as you can see by me arming the track, now it's showing my signal. Yo, 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 check, 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 check. Yes, so I can actually start to lay down vocals here. So let's go ahead and let's lay down some vocals. Now, how do we go about doing that? This time, instead of using overdub, which most people use on the MIDI side, we're just going to use record. And we're going to take this to the top. We can drag it back to the top from the actual numbers here in the middle. And we're just going to hit record. And we're going to play it from the start. It's going to give me a countdown. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And as you can see, my vocals are laying themselves down in the software. Okay, and I just I just disabled it and stopped recording. And here is my vocal track. Here's my vocal take. It's in there. Now, there's several things I can do with this. If I want to leave this my record track and then I just want to utilize that just to record my vocals, I'm going to actually take the hand like I just did. I'll do it again. Take the hand and then I'm going to drag it to the very next track below and just make sure it's in the same space. And then I can go and I can lace tracks over it again. So say I wanted to start right here. We want to go ahead and just record and play. Oh, that's one thing that I did forget too. I apologize. What you want to do is, okay, I'm going to undo that. There's an undo function right here. You want to stay on highlighted on the track that you want to record on. Now, you also have to make sure that your inputs are correct if you do go to these other tracks, and I'll show you how that works really quickly. I'm gonna go back up here to the track, to the mixer window, and I'm just gonna make these all mono. So my mono input is input 1. That's where mic is. You know what I'm saying? Most cases you're gonna find your input 1 mono. You record vocals in mono. I don't know if anybody records in stereo, but today's your lucky day. I'm here to tell you right now that you do not record vocals in stereo. You just record them in mono. And you can look at many videos on recording, and they'll tell you all the same. They'll tell everybody, will tell you the same thing. So we're in mono. We're setting up all our channels just in case we record on any other tracks. But I like using the very top track and then using the hand like I showed you, and then dragging it down and dropping it in to the timeline. So we gotta we're gonna do our record. I'm gonna go back here again to the bar that I want to be at. Let's go ahead and be at 5. Let's go ahead and get our countdown. 4, 3, 2, and as you can see, my vocals are laying themselves down in the software. And then I would continue to keep talking right here and pick up from there. Now I could, you know, go as long as I want here. And then I can punch if I want to, or I could go all the way through if I'm accustomed to doing that. So again, I got my take in there. I'm just going to hit the space bar and it's going to stop me right there. And what I'm going to do this time is I have the time correct on here. What the time correct will do will enable me to snap my section here the way that I want to. Now I can zoom in just to make it accurate. And it looks accurate now. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to drag this to the track below it. And this is, people, this is what you call a ping pong technique. So again, I'm just going to play from here. And as you can see, my vocals are laying themselves down in the software. And then I would continue to keep talking right here and pick up from there. Now I could, you know, go as long as I want here. And then I can punch if I want to, or I could go all the way through if I'm accustomed to doing that. Maybe I wanted to stop right there and then I can just trim that up and get all that extra junk out of there. Now, another thing that I do is I do route my outputs to this submix that I was telling you about. The submix is where I actually have my vocal template. I kind of go an easier convention, easy route with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't put too much guesswork in it. I just like to run my, ever since I've been using Pro Tools, I've been running my vocals to a main vocal bus. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So that's my vocal bus. And as you can see, my vocals are laying themselves down in the software. And then I would continue to keep talking right here. And okay, so you can hear the quality of that. It's pretty cool. I got a little bit of reverb in my return. So that's what I did here on the mixer, on the sub mix. I just put it on a return. And how do I go about seeing that? I can just scroll down here into my returns, and you'll see that I have returns set here. Now, if I raise this up, my first return has a reverb already associated with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the mix of that, and then I'm going to play that back. One, two, 1 2 1 2 1 2. And of course, I would make more adjustments. And as you can see, my vocals are laying themselves down in the software. And then I would continue to keep talking right here and pick up from there. Now I could, go as long as I want here. And then I can punch if I want to, or I could go all the way through if I'm accustomed to doing that. Okay. So you guys kind of see what's going on with that. You know what I mean? Just gonna adjust my voice here a little bit. I can actually go into the software here and go. And as you can see, my vocals are laying themselves down in the software. And then I would continue to keep talking right here and pick up from there. Now I could, go as long as I want here. And then I can punch if I want to, or I could go all the way through if I'm accustomed to doing that. All right, cool. Yes, and it's real simple. Like, say if you want to get rid of these, all you got to do is kind of like highlight them. Similar to that right there, and just hit your delete button, and it'll delete the record takes out of your window. And you can start from the top again if you want. You can go from a certain spot if you want. Long as time correct is down, and you can switch this time correct up here at the top to whatever you need it to be. So maybe I'll go to 8, and it'll make it easier for me to move my cursor at the bar where I want it to be without it going over. So when I go in and record, I can record. Now there's another thing you can do in the preferences where you can actually, take the countdown off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can take the countdown off. You can do all that good stuff. You can set this up basically how you want to. You could set this up how you want, and if you want to record without the countdown, you can do it like that. You can do it however you need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, really can make this fit to your liking. And like I said, once again, if you don't have the luxury of having another software, you know what I'm saying, you can do well. You know what? As a matter of fact, here's how I would go about doing it without having to use the metronome. What I would do is I would merely just hit play and then just hit the record button after that, or R for the shortcut. Okay, that's where I would do it. So let's highlight our thing, let's arm it for recording, and let's do that again. We'll just hit play, and then we hit R, and as you can see, once again, I'm recording again. This is a very, very straightforward approach to recording. And as you can see, the DAW does have a nice sound to it. Mind you, I'm using a wireless microphone to record right now. Okay, I'm using the wireless today. I had I'll be getting another condenser, but I'm giving a condenser to a singer that was on our show on Thursday night, the Lovely Radio Show. If you guys are not familiar with the Lovely Radio Show, it's on YouTube, it is on Twitch, it is on Facebook, Instagram, it is on pretty much every main social platform, and you can actually, really, really, really tap in from any one of those sources, and that's Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Western Pacific, PST, or EST at 10 o'clock, and that's with Miss Toy. If you are not familiar with Miss Toy, you should be. She is one of the West Coast legends out there, period. You should know who she is. Just go to her channel, subscribe to that show, and you'll see me, myself, and a couple other producers, Speak Low, K-Wise, and Miss Toy. We do the Lovely Radio Show on Thursday nights, so make sure you go and tap in over there. Okay? Always doing shameless plugs, for the other platforms, you know what I mean? And so, yeah. And so now, look, as you can see, once again, I was able to just kick right in by just merely hitting play. So, like, say I wanted to take this and move it to the front. I'm gonna move it to the front on a whole nother track. Grab it, move it down, or move it wherever I want to move it to. So I want to move it to that track. I'm gonna go ahead and trim it up, just like you can do in any other software. If I double click this and bring our section up here, since we're on the mix window, we'll go over here. We'll go over to our track window. I'm gonna double click this again. Track view, that is. This is track view. Be accurate and correct. I select that, and I bring this up again. Now you can see that I can edit this even further. So one thing I can do is I can go in between the section here, and I can create some silence there if I want to. I can do all kind of different types of things to this particular part of the track. Now, one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the time correct off so I can freely go into the sections here, and say I wanted to, create some silence, create a fade. Just make sure we're highlighted. Oh, that's one thing I will say. Make sure you're highlighted here. Make sure you're highlighted up in the track window. When it's highlighted like that, then you can go into the editor here and you can edit some things. So let's go down here to our main vocal. Here we go. We're highlighted here. Yes, then you can do all kinds of little edits and things of that nature. Now, we can create some silence, we can fine-tune things, we can do whatever we need to do here. Let's see, you can also create stems, as we can do now in MPC. One thing we can do here, let's see. If I highlight a section here and I just hit delete, nope, that just deletes the whole thing. So we know now that doesn't do that. But you can get rid of the little middle parts here to get your little air pockets out of there. you can do all that other good stuff. You know what I mean? You can go ahead and clear it out. So that way, you know, if we do a split here, for example, we do a split here. I'll go back to my selection tool or my pencil tool or one of these, any of these tools, and I can go ahead and trim it up. You know what I mean? So let's see here. There we go. If you're below, that's another thing too. If you're below here, if you're below the line there, you can grab it and it'll enable you to trim up. So boom, there it goes. Now I'm able to take that part away. I can go in here and I can split again. You know, that way I can get all these little wild air pockets out of here. So that way my takes sound clean. Let's go ahead and pop this again and grab this and trim up once again. And there you go. You know what I'm saying? Like you can literally get into it. Now what I'll do is I'll play it back so you can kind of like get an idea of what's going on. Then we hit R, and as you can see, once again, I'm recording again. This is a very, very straightforward approach to recording. And as you can see, the DAW does have a nice sound to it. And there you go. And that all that really does is just helps my plugins. That's a little trick that we do in the engineering world where, you know, you got to cut out the dead air in between, and you definitely want to do that. You know what I mean? And let's see here. Let's go ahead and log in. Okay. Let's open the chat. See, I know people probably been talking and I hadn't seen nothing. I apologize about that, y'all. There we go. All right, all right, all right. Nah, nobody's been really saying anything just yet. And that's cool. You guys get a chance, you know, go ahead and look at the show again, and you'll be able to, you know, get to the edumacations that we doing here. The edumacations. Yeah, so that's another thing that you can definitely do is tighten up your vocal mix from the edit window here. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this window can go up. It can come back down. It can go back up. You know, go whatever size you want it to be, and you'll be good to go. But I discovered this, and I actually recorded a song in this, you know what I'm saying, just to see what kind of value it really does have. You know what I'm saying? And it does. It does. It has a lot of value to it, and I'm able to actually do edits like say I can go to a certain bar here, put my time correct back on, like select a certain bar, and I can take a part of the beat out. So I'll just go ahead and hit my split tool, and then go back here to my trim and trim it up there, just one little step. So let's go ahead and play it from there. Have a nice sound to it. Right. As I heard a little clip there. So what I can do is I can hit the fade out here a little bit. Now I'll make this bigger so you can see it. And I'll zoom in some. Let's get to my part where I was just doing a little edit. Right there. Now I just created a fade right there. Now I can adjust that fade. As you can see, I bring the fade in as far as I need to, but I just want to cut it right there. So that little hit right there that you see, or I could trim it out. It's either or. I could do either or. I can take my time correct off, trim that back some, and then it's gone. You know what I mean? But in any instance, it just makes that cut clean. That's another little secret of the producers. You know what I'm saying? Like you cut a little bit of that off, and it'll clean it up. You can also, you know, get into your other settings, and you can take bits and pieces out when you're creating beats. But when you're in this DAW, it does have a nice sound to it. See how that was clean and quiet, and it kind of like really just made it stand out in a professional way. That's how that works. You know what I'm saying? So cool. Cool. Yeah, but I actually thought that this was pretty cool. And I think that, if people, shed a little bit more light on some of the other functionalities of this software, they'll be much further down the road with it. You feel me? Be much further down the road, and you'll know a lot of the different capabilities of what you have, because like I said, what if you only had this software to do your song? Well, now you can see that you can actually do this. Now you can actually see that you can do this, and it literally works. There's really nothing else to really say about that part of it. It actually just works. You know what I mean? You can route these how you want. You can have your sends set up the way you want to. You can have your submixes, which I look at the submix like a bus channel. So, when you're going into the mix window here, you can see here that, you got submixes, you got options to do audio tracks, MIDI tracks, programs, submixes, returns, and main outputs. So if I select submixes down here on the mixer, now I can see my submixes. I can also see my programs. I can see my submixes. I can see everything. So you can see here on this first submix here that I got my, a basic vocal template for. And then we hit R. And as you can see, once again, I'm recording again. I have some Waves plugins on that. This is a very, very straightforward approach. And then in my return, recording, which I got running and from the submix to the return. The DAW does have a nice sound to it. I got a little reverb running in there. So it just gives it a little bit of wetness and gives it a little shine. And as you can see, once again, I'm recording again. This is and mind you, I'm using a wireless vocal mic. You know what I mean? I'm using a wireless vocal mic. I'm not even using a condenser, but you can imagine what it's going to sound like with a condenser. You know what I'm saying? You can imagine what that really, really does sound like. Your vocal quality is going to be just as good as you are. You know what I'm saying? Just trust your ears. Always mix at a low volume. Don't have your volume jacked up super high. I think that's critical and that's important, because sometimes people will, they'll jack the volume up and it will be just like, dang, you know what I'm saying? You really can't tell what the mix is sounding like when you're, because the human ear does lose a little bit of, judgment the louder that your music is. So I encourage you to mix at a lower volume. I encourage you to, kind of like tap into these techniques, and if you got any questions anytime, just let me know. You know what I'm saying? Most importantly, we just want you to enjoy the process. I enjoy the process. One of my secrets, people like, why is it such a good thing for you? Why you get so good at it? It's because you enjoy it. You should always do what you love. If you're not doing what you love, I don't know what to tell you. But you should. You know what I'm saying? You should do what you love. And so getting back to this, though, as you can see here, I can fully set this all the way up to the point where if I'm just doing the mixing part, I can be in my mixer here. I can see whatever parts I want. If I don't want to see that, the program thing, I take the program off, and then now I can see my mixer, my sub mixes, my returns. And on the far right here is my main output. You know what I'm saying? This is my main outputs. So you can have a lot of different main outputs here. And this mixer is pretty flexible. Get into it. Look at the mixer in MPC software and see exactly what kind of advantages that you have with this. Because you can do pretty much the same thing that you can do with the other softwares. You can add automation, of course. You can do all kind of different types of things that you want to do with this. It's all in how creative. And it's crazy because the company, right. Hey, what up, Misery? What's going on, everybody? I'm sorry that I'm tapping in late with the chat. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? What's going on, John? You already know that's my brother John, for those who don't know. You know what I'm saying? But yes, this is actually a very, very strong software for me, and I use it. I use it religiously. I don't just use this one time here and there, or I don't just use it just to make beats. I tend to look at digital audio workstations as just that, digital audio workstations. And I know that most people, I can tell you that for a fact, do not know that this MPC software can do what the other softwares, what they do as well. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a lot of different things you can do with this software. Now, of course, if I want to set this up and I want to go to a new template, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a new project. Okay, say I'm done with that one. I'm gonna save that. We're gonna go to a new one. Okay, I'm gonna go to a new project, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna set this up for another recording. All right, how we go about doing that? All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our audio, and then we're gonna look at our track view. We're going to look at our track view, and then what we're going to do here is where it says Audio 001, there is a record tab, so that enables recording. But right next to it, there's a little plus. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit that plus as many times as we want. So I'll say we want 8 vocal tracks. So we just hit it plus 8 times. Hit it plus 8 times, and there we go. We now have 8 vocal tracks to use in MPC. Now, if I call the mixer up with it, now you can see that the mixer's here, and you can see all my tracks. Now I can set these up the way that I want once again. You know what I'm saying? Like, based off of what I'm looking at. I can see my sub mixes, I can see my returns, I can see my audio tracks. And those are all the channels that you see down here in the mixer. Pretty self-explanatory. So, and whatever one that I want to highlight and record, I can highlight and record. Now, remind you, here's another shortcut here. If I hold down Shift and hit the left click, I can highlight every vocal track. Watch what I do. Shift, and then touch from, it's already highlighted on one. Okay. Let's go ahead and undo that real quick. There we go. All right, so, oh, my bad. Let's go ahead and bring that back up. So if I say I highlighted one off of there. Now, like say I highlight this one. Okay, I didn't mean to turn the volume all the way down though. I don't know why that does that. Maybe you need to highlight it up here. I don't know. Highlight it somewhere in the top there above where it says audio input, and then hold down Shift once again and highlight the very last audio 8. Since audio 1 is highlighted, hold down Shift, hit audio, touch audio 8. Now every last one of those are highlighted. Now what I can do is I can change the routing, if I'm not mistaken, all to submix 1, and I can. So I just changed the output on track 1 to sub 1, and it made every last one that was highlighted, it made all of them go to sub 1. So now all my vocals are routed to sub 1, and I can run one to sub 2. I can go back to the main one and say, all right, I don't need this going to a sub mix. I need to go to stereo output because that's going to be my beat. So there we go. And then we got our beat set up there, and then the rest of our vocals are going to the sub mix. And then we can route those sub mixes to a return, or we can route these to a return and then still have them going to a sub mix. However you choose to do it is how you choose to do it. But this is the easy. It's real easy. As you can see, it's real simple. I was able to set the environment up in seconds, and now I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally ready to go. I don't have to, I don't have to sit there and waste a lot of time. Say if I'm in a hurry to do something, I don't have to waste a lot of time. I can get right into the flow, and I can make it really, really go into another space with it. You feel me, if you will. And so, yeah, this is This is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad at all. It is kind of easy when you really start to understand, and that's what it is. Understanding just different platforms and their different workflows is very important. Now, another thing I should stress one more time, that you have a window here for the browser, the file browser. You can go into an expansion browser and this, that, and the third, but we're just really worried about the file browser when we're recording so we can find a beat, preview a beat, you know, make sure we understand the tempo. You know what I'm saying? So I'll tend to find stuff that has the tempo on it, set my tempo where I need to set it. Like, for example, say I like this one right here. All right, and I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna drag that in there. By the way, these are all productions by myself. And then I know that that's gonna be a certain amount of bars. So let me go out to about, what did we say last time? About 57? Let's go 58. All right. I think that should cover us on the whole entire beat, for real, for real. And if we go here, we should be able to see it. It goes right about there. Yeah. So my whole entire beat can be seen here. Okay. For the most part, it can be seen. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I do take my information away, I can see more of the track and, you know, go from there if I want to. But if down information is the inspector, actually, the eye down below on the bottom left. I said information, I meant inspector. So the inspector, kind of like when you call it back up, it shows your windows here. So now I can select track 2. Since my beat is on track 1, I can just rename that real quick, beat. And then go to track 2. And on track 2 is just going to be my lead vocal. So, or record. This is my record track. And I kind of simplify things. Now you can make these whatever you want them to be. You know what I'm saying? Now this is just going to be my lead. So when I mix, I can understand this is my lead. And the next track below it is going to be my punch. All right, so those are my basic tracks. Anything else below that, I'm pretty sure it should be good to go. You know what I'm saying? We can call that hook. We can call that hook 2. Okay. Well, hook 1. Okay. 2, and then we just call this an ad-lib track. Just to give you an idea of what you can do. And like I said, you can do it all the way that you want to do it. I think that people doing things their own way, but you know, this can give you a basic idea of what you can do when you are doing this. You know what I mean? Like, really important to know that you can do these type of things in these different types of softwares. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think we pretty much covered this part of it. You know what I mean? We covered this in a way where I think you guys can understand it. I think you guys can kind of like get into this software. You can actually set up your environment. You can record in it. And a lot of people, the reason why I brought it to your attention today is because a lot of people did not know that you could actually record vocals in this thing as well. You can actually do it on the standalone as well too, but using the MPC2 software, I think that was part of the gem that a lot of people missed, or maybe they just are, you know, used to doing it their own way and they don't like the way that the workflow works. Well, then you use what you like to use. No written rule on that part of it. As long as the end result comes out that your stuff sounds good, it sounds good to you, that's the most important thing. It's not, I'm not one of those type of people to tell you, oh, it has to be this way or it has to be that way. The basics, yes, everybody knows that. You got to understand basic workflow in order to do what it is that you do and personalize what you personalize. But I will say this, you can, at that point, once you know the basics, you can do it exactly how you want to do it. And however much time you spend and how you get to your end result, that is entirely up to you. It's not up to me. It's not up to anybody else. Do it your way and do it, the way that you need to. But with software these days, you can actually get to stuff quickly, efficiently. And in most cases, most of us do not have the time because we're multitasking, doing other things to sit there hour in and hour out. We need our softwares to be set up template wise. That's what I would consider a template. I would save that blank as a template. And then I would be able to use that over and over and over again. Once I drag another beat in it, I'll save it as the name of that song. And then my template will always stay blank. That's a very important thing to remember. You can actually set your templates up to record in any software, be it Logic, Reason, go down the road, GarageBand, you name it. You can pretty much set a template and call it a session. And that could be your personal template for you to get into a workflow, record, do all the other things that you need to do. Make sure you have your settings the way you need to have them. You know what I'm saying? Try to use decent equipment, you know what I'm saying? And understand the equipment that works best for you. Don't just get stuff because other people got it. Get it because it works for you. That's the most important thing when it comes to doing this music stuff. Find stuff that works for you. I said it in my book. By the way, I have a book on my website. If you go to custombeatking.com, which you see below here, you can see The Art of Beat Making. The Art of Beat Making is a book that I have that you can check out. You know what I'm saying? And if you go there, go down to as you can see down below, go down to custombeatking.com and scroll down the page and you'll see the book. It's only $2. You can pick it up and you can get your basic knowledge of, what you would need to understand about beat making. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I got a couple more minutes here. I'm glad that some people tapped in with me this Sunday, and I'm gonna start having guests too. Just so you know, I had guests the first week, but I'm gonna start having some guests. You know what I'm saying? So that way, people can, bring their insight in. I'll have other producers, I have artists coming in. Some people that you could be familiar with, and say, hey, you know what? Like, hey, that was solid. That was thorough. You know what I mean? So, yes, indeed. Yep, just checking the thing here. But yeah, we are about to get out of here. You guys enjoy your Sunday. Watch your football. Do all the good things that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? This is the first weekend of the NFL. I know that. So you guys check out the games. Run this back. Share it to a friend. Like, subscribe. Just hit the notification, because the only way that you're missing this show is if you don't have the notifications on, or if it's just too early. If it is, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? But I know that you will catch the show if you hit the subscribe button and make sure that that bell is ticked. So anytime that I'm getting ready to go on live, you got the notification. Okay? So just know we're here every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is the Custom Beat Show. J-Pad the Juggernaut. I am signing off. I'm going to holler at you guys in a minute. And yeah, see you next week. Have a great week and